Welcome to This Week on Let's Fix Her Up. I'm your host, Mike Jameson, and as you can see, we're in the middle of a big project here. This is at my house, and I wanted to make sure I was putting up a new fence because, number one, our back, Dave can flick the camera back, you can see exactly what our backyard is here. Got an old train track area that's not used anymore, and basically what's happened is, the winds and everything have just taken everything out of it, and there's just nothing, it all has to be redone. I didn't want to just put those pieces up. So basically what we're doing now is we're digging the posts, and then we're putting our own slats in, and we're doing everything with our own pickets right here, and got them over at Menards, and everything so far is going up good. We're looking real well, and we're there. I did find one problem though, and I'm gonna have Dave come over here. If he can get over here, I'm gonna show it to you here. Come on, Dave. You get to come in here in the backwoods area. And we're going to show this how we did everything and how we put everything in. But I wanted this thing to just be super, super, super strong because of the wind and everything that we get here. But one of the things that I did is I took my 2x4s thinking, and this is all of our stuff is treated, everything is good. But I was under the impression that all of this was going to be good. But as you can see, everything kind of warped down here. And if you look, it's really not that bad. It really isn't. But to me, I wanted that perfect straight, and I'm not getting it now because this is warping. So what I'm going to do with the rest of my 2x4s when I put them in, I'm going to flip them the highway here, which is going to get me more strength when I put all of my wood and everything in, and I get all these slats in here. I mean, it's not a big deal. It really isn't. I just wanted to show it to you. Maybe this is something, if you wind up doing it this way, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah, just one of the big things that we're going to be doing here. We've got a great show for you here. All the great people, Wayne over at Dan R's. We're going to talk about fuel economy a little bit. And we got some new people coming on board, folks. You're going to be really excited this year with all the great stuff we're doing. Well, another one of those projects that you can do yourself and save you a lot of money, and also just a pleasure knowing you did something. And with these fences that you can get at the that are already pre-made, 8 foot wide by 6 foot high, they're just, I don't know, they're just not put together very well. I mean, you can see it when you look at what we had here. It just literally all fell apart. It just fell apart. And probably only 10 years for it. We have some very strong winds that come back here. Now we've got some trees and stuff that are blocking this. And we just want to get this area all looking really super nice so that obviously we're here in Rossford and we want to make sure everything looks good. It's a beautiful community and want to help out with it. What we were able to do is, and this is another thing, because having the 8 foot sections that were here before, a lot of the people that owned the house before I did used landscape timbers for their sticks, for their 4x4 sticks that you mount everything on. That's what you're putting your concrete. You're using your concrete and this and this and this, and they've all turned to mush. They're just junk. Everything's junk. So your 8 foot sets, they're going to be kind of messed up because there's some of them that broke. There's some of them, as we go down the line, we're going to be able to use them, but we're making sure we're below the frost line. We've got our first few panels in. Everything's rock hard here. I'm going to show you a little bit here. We've got everything marked off. We're using string on this, and we're stringing up over our old ones that we had over here. Now, I've got a couple of them that I'm leaving in. This one right here, we're going to leave this one in, but it's a full 2x4, short on our string here, so we're going to have to put a 2x4 in here. It's just going to be added beast, to keep the winds from knocking this thing down. Nobody's going to see the other side, so I'm just keeping in as many of them as I possibly can. We're using one of them down here as our go-to. And to that point, everything's fine. As we go down another, I'm going to say another 20 feet before we start hitting the backyard, everything should be fine and should work out good. We really didn't have too many problems putting in our other one. The only thing that I'm worried about is we're in Rossford and there's a lot of clay here. So it might make it real hard for us to dig these. We've got it all marked. We're on an 8-foot center. We came off here, and we're coming to our center point of our 8-foot being here. That's how we're going to be able to use our 2x4s and get them in there. And if you can see, and this is one of the things I talked about a little earlier. When we used these before, we had them set like this, and they've kind of sagged in the middle. So we're going to put them like this, even though boy, they don't look good now, that's for sure. But we can make them work. But we're gonna make sure that, you know, when we put them up here, they're going to be here. We're going to have a lot more room to do our nailing and go from there. And that's it. Next thing is we're going to dig our hole. All right, we've got our post in, and we're under the frost line with everything. Got a little stone to put in here yet. I'm going to bring it up a little bit more and go from there. But we're going to try a new product here. We found this over at Menards. It's fence post backfill. And basically what this thing is you mix these two components together, and when you mix them together, it turns into like a foam, like an expanding foam, and you put that in there, and that will this will be just like putting concrete in. So we're going to try it out and see if it works. Most of the stuff that I'm putting in is with concrete. We're trying it, but I'm always wanting to try a new product, and this is it's kind of like an expanding foam stuff that you basically have to do before you get it. You got to mix these two products together. Okay, and now you got them all in one, and you got to get them really mixed. I'm gonna mix them for a few seconds here to make sure. And this alone, they do give you little things, but I got such big hands, I've already ripped them out. So, oh well, it's just one of them things. So you just mix it. And Dave, I'm going to have you bring that camera over here, because this could be a kind of a quick process once we get it in here. And if we screw it up, well, I've screwed things up before. That's the one thing about, you know, when we do these projects and everything, folks, yeah, if you mess it up, you mess it up. You know, mine's not going to be perfect, but you know what? I just didn't have the amount of money it was going to take to have a company come out here and do this. And it's taken me a while. You know, I was sick for a while, but now we're good as gold. And I thank the great people over there at Menards for helping us out with this. So once you put this in, we're going to pour this in, and we're going to see what the heck happens here. Now, I got my thing to check and make sure everything's, oh, you want to get it, you're going to miss it, Dave. You want to get over here so you can see the stuff being poured in there. And trying to get it all the way around. And this stuff's going to just keep expanding and getting bigger and bigger, and should fill the whole thing up. And you got about a minute or two. It's really, really warm. This stuff is just hot, very hot. So I get it all in there, and then we're going to start moving this into position here. So we're good on our positioning, and I'm going to say right about there. I got to tell you, folks, come here. We've only been, I don't know, I poured this stuff in here about 5 minutes ago, and I mean it's bubbling up, and it's already, I mean, we're perfectly level. Everything's really good already. It's not like I would be able to put you know, any 2x4s or anything on it yet, but very good product. I've got a ton of concrete, and I wanted to get one in here, and you know, with me with all my heart deals, it's real tough for me to use that the post hole digger, so I'm gonna have to have Dave dig posts for me. So let the big, strong, muscular guys do it. But our next product will be is going to be, once this one's done, we're going to show you how to install the 2x4s here. We're going to do it the right way this time. We're not going to lay them flat so they sag on me. When we lay them upright, you know, you're going to get the crown. We're going to go with the crown. I'll show you what a crown's all about on a piece of 2x4 too. So good stuff. A little warm out here, and unbelievable. That is unbelievable. What a great product. And I think about on one of these boxes here, one bag of this is equal to 2 concrete bags, and it's about 11 bucks, but just the ease of putting it in there, and we're just going to see where we're at. I'm amazed, and it's probably going to have to sit. I think I'm not 100% sure how long it says to. They say 5 minutes to 10 minutes it should be set, so we're going to see where we're at here in 5 minutes, and hopefully we got it all done the right way. If not, I'll have to take it out and put another one in, but I think we did this. I think this is a good thing.
Tires play an important role in your vehicle's handling, comfort, and fuel efficiency. So when it comes to maintaining them, you need a name you can trust. At Dan Ars Automotive, our expert staff will help you find the perfect tires to keep your vehicle at peak performance. We have a huge selection of top brand tires for you to choose from. Having issues with your tires? We'll diagnose the problem and get you back on the road. Visit Dan Ars Automotive today for tires from a name you can trust.
Store, yet so much more. Your home improvement answer store. A place to design your interior space. A professional and friendly smiling face. Everything you need for your home. And Gladio is locally owned. You'll be glad to know Gladio Home Center.
Is your roof past its peak? It's not always this easy to tell. From rooftops to foundations, Seagate is a trusted A-plus BBB accredited business and a Platinum Preferred contractor. As a Platinum Preferred contractor, we offer one of the country's best roofing warranties, the Owens Corning True Protection 50-year warranty. That's material and labor. We've earned your trust for over 30 years, Toledo. Call Seagate now.
244-LEAK Seagate.
Hi, Wayne Jacob back from Dan Ars Automotive again. What we're going to talk about today is the brake system on your car. Basically, we're just going to take this apart piece by piece and give you a little bit of the identity of each particular piece. Eric, my technician here, is going to take basically the caliper out of it and flip it up. You're going to be able to see the brake pads inside. This is the caliper bracket that it rides on. These are the sliders that it slides on. When Eric puts that caliper back down, he can push it back and forth and see how it slides back and forth. That means it's working. When you push on your brakes, it basically pushes a piston on the inside, pushes together your brakes. What I really want to talk about is this is a car with 26,000 miles on it, and as you can see by the winter up here in Ohio, what it does to an actual brake rotor. These things actually get destroyed in the wintertime up here, and obviously, you really never worry about your brakes until they fail. So we here at Dan Ars, we try to do a brake check, at least visually, on every car we look at. And I think you'll find that about 60% of the cars on the road today need either a brake job, rotors, brake pads, or what have you. There's a couple of other maintenance things you can do. You can do a brake fluid flush on these things, which basically removes the moisture from the system. We can actually have testers out there today that you can put inside the brake fluid and test the moisture, which we do here. You never want to overfill your brake fluid. You only fill it up after it's down past the minimum level on your brake fluid, and you want to only fill it up to the minimum level. So it's important that you take a look at, when they take a look at it, they look at the wear sensors. And wear sensors are basically look like this inside the brake pads. When your brake pads wear down to a certain point, this catches on your rotor and basically causes that screeching noise. Now what you have to remember up here in the north is basically the sensor pin can actually break off because they actually look like this. When you first put them on, they can break off. So just because they're not squealing doesn't mean they need replaced. So what you want to do is you want to keep an eye on it. At least every 2 to 3 oil changes, you want to have your brakes inspected a little bit, at least visually, and we do that here at DNRs with the 31-point free inspection on every time your car comes in here. As you can see here behind me, we have 12 bays here at DNRs. We're open 5 days a week from 7 in the morning to 6 p.m. We have 15 loaner cars that are free with service here. So stop by and check us out.
Well, folks, we're here with Nick Carpenter here at A+ Home Improvements. And Nick, buddy, if you remember this guy, he was my quick tip guy for years and years and years.
Long time.
You've actually moved to a humongous location over here, and you moved to the golden side of the river.
Right, I came to East Toledo. We were here. We had 2 locations.
Right,
one
right.
downtown. That's where we used to do a lot of our shoots.
Yep.
We ended up putting everything on one site. So now we got this new building that's still kind of a mess
Wow,
behind
you're
us.
building. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, and this is the one thing when you see it. I know you guys do a lot of stuff in the newspapers, and you're everywhere. You're basically a one-stop shop. I mean, if people need rubbish taken out, trash taken out, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Home improvements, your kitchen remodeling, and the stuff that you do, it's just incredible. And then to top it all off, you know, you've got some things out here for mulch, and you name it, you got it right here.
Well, yeah, we do everything for the most part. I'm a licensed remodeler by trade.
Right,
you know that. So I can't put a new electrical service for you in, but we are a licensed remodeler, so we work with subcontractors that are licensed. And for you to work with me on a project, we're going to pre-screen you. You're going to have to pass a background check. You're going to have the appropriate insurance. So no matter what it is, just call us. We can take care of it.
I got to tell you too, and that has always been the one thing. In this frame of mind right now in 2018, there just aren't enough people to work.
Yeah, exactly.
That know how to even use a screwdriver, and that's what kind of hurts because
Yes.
you guys are going 24/7. It's awesome.
Yeah, we're really busy. There's no two ways, and I'm very happy and very blessed because of it. City of Toledo has been awesome and surrounding. It's not just Toledo. But you know, we've had our own trials and tribulations, just like the homeowners out here. They're having a hard time finding quality contractors. I'm sure you've heard horror stories.
People call me all the time.
The horror stories of being ripped off, or the job not being done, or not done to their satisfaction, and we do eliminate that.
Matter of fact, you did some excavating work for me for a patio that. One of these days, I'll get that poured. He did such a good job on it. We've just left the stone in there. It looks great.
Your project was interesting. I'll never forget that. That was the hardest soil that we ever went through. I should have had an actual excavator in there, not a little bobcat.
Yeah, because the bobcat actually would go. It tilted up. It hit so much hard stuff. It was unbelievable.
It was difficult.
But one of these days, we'll get that done. We're doing the fence right now, and I know you guys do fences and things like that, and you name it, you guys do it. And I'm really excited. What are some of the projects we're going to be doing here in the next few?
Well, we got a couple. You know, we talked about even showing epoxy. We just started really playing with epoxy. I love this stuff. I think it's amazing. And I've always had the attitude, and I tell my customers, if you can do it, I can do it. Sure. So I also encourage people that want to do a project, ask questions, do it, try it, you know. So we're going to show a couple epoxy floor installations of products that you can buy, and it's 2-part epoxy, real commercial stuff, not that 1 part, you know, you're walking into the average boxer, but really good stuff. We do have a couple kitchens coming up, baths. I know we got a couple siding jobs, exterior paints. We can also talk more about, and that's a whole nother show, the new lead issue, right? That's a hot topic, right?
Big time.
So we could show you how to work with lead, how to be safe, keep your family safe. If you think that it could have home, you could test for it, but I just, you know, treat it as if it has lead, and you'll be fine. So that were some of the things we're going to play with.
I'm so excited. I've been their DJ for their Christmas parties. He's the best dancer. He is.
I don't know that.
We don't know that. No, but
I think the videos would say otherwise.
And I do have video of that too. Folks. Telephone number for people to call you. Is this a 24-hour day? They can like an emergency comes around.
Yeah.
You can take
First
care
of all, just call the main number 419-478-1542.
Perfect.
That's going to go right to our front desk. From there, you know, they'll ask you what you're looking for, and you know, if it's got it, you might actually talk to me personally, especially if it's on the excavation or junk removal. That's the easiest way. Another way is if it's in the middle of the night and you're just, you know, you're bored. You know,
or you're late last night. My sump pump went crazy. We had so much water coming in. We give you a call. Maybe you can help them out with that.
ToledoHandyman.com. It's so easy to remember. Go to that website. Then it'll also have our. Not only can you contact us there, but it also has our phone number listed.
All right, buddy. All right, he's going to make me sweat, folks. I'm ready now. I'm ready.
Marty Bihn here, Fairway Mortgage, Toledo. Proud to announce our new branch open at 5577 Monroe Street in Sylvania. But more importantly, we're proud to announce we're the official game sponsor of the Rockets' home opener for football against VMI. And since that's a military-themed game, we're proud to say that we're sponsoring a Military Appreciation Day that day with a game ball presentation. And we're also having $500 off closing costs for any veteran locally that applies for a VA loan. So $500 off closing costs. You can email me, reach me on my cell phone. Email is marty.bihn@fairwaymc.com.
Mike Jameson and Jameson's Mobile Music would like to talk to you about your entertainment needs for your upcoming wedding or special event. For over 25 years, Mike has made wonderful memories, one event at a time. Professional sound and lighting and video for your special event. Call us today for an affordable package for your special day. 419-514-1302. Jameson's Mobile Music and Video. Well, folks, we're all over the map today here with home improvements and car improvements and things like that, but it all basically comes down to being able to have a good mortgage on your house and making sure if there's some money you can get out of your house. You want to talk to a guy like this guy right here. Marty, how you doing, buddy?
Good to see you.
Yeah. Took a little month off here, relaxed, got the golf game down, and
I don't want to hear. I'm like doubting Thomas in this one. I'm going to need to see it with my own
all right,
two
we'll
eyes.
get you out there. We'll get you out there.
I keep hearing about it, but that's
well, you know, we've all been moving. We've all been working, doing a lot of stuff, and of course, you are now the proud recipient of this beautiful office here on Monroe Street. And tell us a little bit about Fairway.
Well, Fairway is a giant national company, has not had a presence in Northwest Ohio, so we're kind of kicking off their presence in the Northwest Ohio region. They're actually year-to-date the #1 FHA lender in America, so they're in the top 4 nationally in all categories, but #1 in FHA loans. And one of our promotions for the next month and a half or so is we're partnering with the University of Toledo Athletics for the Toledo home opener against, against VMI, Virginia Military Institute. So we're doing a military tribute for a game ball presentation before the game, but we're also offering $500 off closing costs, and we're doing some outreach education on VA loans, which I think are one of the more misunderstood ones. It's a true 0 down, 0 PMI. Most of the time the veteran won't need any money out of pocket. Great rates, and the biggest misconception about them is how you become eligible, and just as important, whether it's a reusable resource. I think many veterans either try to preserve it or they save it in case they ever need it if something goes wrong. And the reality is, in almost all circumstances, it can be restored. So if you use it today and then you sell that house and pay that loan off, you can use it again. And
you're
again,
in the system and you're set up.
Yeah, you can use it multiple times. So there's not really a reason to save it anymore. If you have 2 years of active duty with an honorable discharge, you're almost always eligible. If you're a reservist, so all those folks out to 180th and places like that, 6 years of reserve duty. And if you served during a time of war, so as an example, the guys and gals who were deployed to Guam last year, most of them became instantly eligible, even if they were newer reservists, because they had enough time, and that was considered a support station for the Afghani mission, so they all became instantly eligible when they returned. And if veterans have questions, there's an electronic system that we can process for them. Literally, you make a phone call, you give us a little data.
Right.
We put it in the system. We can usually tell you within an hour if you're eligible or not, and we can also help you restore your eligibility if you've used it before and want to use it. But in our market, it's good for home purchases all the way in excess of $400,000 without anything down.
Well, this has been, you know, when everybody's talking about it, I had a guy just literally drive up to my house in Rossford and tell me, listen, I'll give you $140,000 for your house right now. That's $40,000 more than I paid for that house. So everything is kind of exploding in the market right now, and people are able to, there's some good buys out there too. And is it a little tougher to get the loans now?
Well, so we'll use the VA loan because a great negotiating example happened this week. Mike here at the office and I were working on a file. It's an interesting scenario because they wrote an offer on a VA loan, but they have quite a bit of money in reserve. And the reason that they the reason they did that is pretty simple. In these bidding situations, you always worry about how high you bid it up and whatever else, and they really want the house. And it's a very unique home, and it's exactly what they want. So if there are questions on the appraisal or questions on financing, they now have the resources because they're not required to put something down where they can pay the difference.
Oh, I see.
So if you started out with a down payment and then everything doesn't work out, you might lose out to somebody who's more liquid than you. So this instantly for them created between $30,000 and $40,000 of liquidity to give them a negotiating advantage over the competition.
That's
so
huge.
They were actually and they didn't have to go anywhere near that high above what they thought, but just $5,000-$10,000 worth of extra buying power got them. And you and I have talked about this before. This is one of those, I don't call it a white elephant because I think that has a negative connotation, but this is a house that has every bell, whistle, toy. I mean, if you bought the house down the street that's nearly identical and then tried to recreate what this house has, you'd spend $100,000 in extras. And this house is only $30,000, $40,000 more than that. So the issue here is it's getting bid up above where it will probably appraise, but it's still a bargain.
Right.
But the market, there's nothing out there to support what you're getting for it because nobody else has sold one that's this tricked out, decked out. I mean, it has the basement that every guy's going.
Oh yeah, the man cave.
No, Tim Taylor's totally jealous. It's, it's got, you can eat off the garage floor.
Right.
It's got a pool. It's got the patio. It's got, I mean, you could list what it doesn't have.
And it'd be easier.
It'd be an easier list. But it's a great question because in this market you need negotiating power. So it's a couple things. You want to get pre-approved, which as you know is cake. That's a phone call or simple download and we can have it done electronically. And just as important, you need somebody who understands the local market. And this is nothing against the big boys nationally who do all those things, but when you have someone like we both are that have been here our whole lives, have been doing this for 25 years locally, we can help with some creative solutions. And I can assure you that couple is real happy today that they kind of thought outside the box because it gave them the opportunity to get something they would never have had a chance to get. Yeah.
Now, I know when I was in here earlier, you had people coming in getting ready to do the cutting of the ribbons and everything. You've got to be really excited. Yeah, I'm going to show some of the neat stuff that you've done in here. You're going to help us out with some projects this fall as we get in here. Give us your telephone number and how people can contact you here. So just sitting down and talking with you for 20 minutes, you learn so much about mortgages and the things that you have to do. Maybe you have to work on your credit. Maybe there's some things you have to do, and he can get you to anywhere you need on that.
So a couple things. One is I'm going to give you my mortgage pet peeve of the week. Okay. I've had this ongoing struggle. So a lot of people have heard of these biweekly mortgages, or that if you make one extra payment a year, you knock 8-9 years off your mortgage. And that's almost all true. But the gimmick of a biweekly is really simple. You take half a payment out every 2 weeks. And every 2 weeks there's 26 biweekly, hey, the office mascot's here. There's 26 biweekly periods in a year. So you end up making 13 payments instead of 12.
Right.
So it's exactly the same as if you made one extra payment a year on your mortgage. Here's the problem. People always ask me, well, that's got to be a great idea, right? Because I'll pay my house off soon.
Right.
Kind of. You got a credit card at 18.
Yeah.
A different credit card at 10 or 12.
Yeah.
You got a car at 7 or 8 and your mortgage is at 4. Who should you pay extra to?
Exactly. Yep, exactly.
Okay, so please don't, I'm not saying don't pay extra on that mortgage. I'm saying you pay extra on whatever debt has the highest interest rate.
He knows what he's talking
till it's paid off.
He does.
And if you have questions, Marty.Bihn, B-I-H-N, at fairwaymc.com or 419-461-0667. Text me anytime.